Hi everybody, welcome to day 2 of ACR 2023. And yes, I know Tiffany said it, but we're kind of tired. It's been a lot of walking. The convention center is really long and it's got a couple different levels too. So there's a lot of walking but again, we're loving every minute of it. And just wanted to kind of give you a kind of debrief on some of the things that I did today. So I primarily was in several pharma meetings with Tiffany and Layla and talked about our priorities and things that we're doing with many different pharmaceutical companies. And can I say that they were impressed by everything that we're doing because it's so unique and so different because nobody else is doing it like we do. So super excited about that. But I did get to one session today, which I know is kind of sad, but I did put 2 things on the table from a ACR Room Now email that I received this morning. So I put 2 of the articles that were put out in this daily debrief, and the first one was Sex Bias in RA, Time to Stop Blaming Hormones. And I invited all of you that are going with us to comment. What are your thoughts on that? I personally know that I am 50 something and I have already gone through menopause, and that hormonal switch definitely messed with my RA. And I just want to know if some of you agree with this article or don't, and share your stories because we'd love to hear more. The other topic I threw on the table, which was another article from Room Now, was how do we manage difficult discussions about pregnancy and RA? My experience was over 24 years ago, so before a lot of information came out about some of the biologics, so I literally had to be off of everything and to safely get pregnant, and that was tough. I'll say that in itself. My prednisone was definitely jacked up because they didn't know what biologics were safe during pregnancy and to nurse or not. So again, that's another topic that I put on the table. Share some of your stories and experiences if you've gotten pregnant or not. Again, to our male folks, so sorry. But the first one, as far as the sex biases, chime in if you are male and let us know some of your thoughts if you do have rheumatoid arthritis. So again, we were in pharma meetings most of the day, and I did get to one abstract session, which was later in the day. And the one abstract that I really kind of thought was fairly interesting was, hang on one second, I'm pulling it up on my computer so I can comment on the title of it. So it was called A 2-Week Break in Methotrexate Treatment and COVID-19 Vaccine Response. So I know with the recommendations when we were all getting our COVID vaccines back in the day and still getting them, they recommended to delay your methotrexate shots by at least 2 weeks. And there were a couple things that came out of it. The background was that methotrexate is the most common DMARD out there, and it's used to treat a variety of inflammatory conditions such as RA, psoriasis, plus or minus arthritis. And the methotrexate inhibits our immunity. So they recommended a 2-week interruption in our methotrexate treatments immediately after the vaccine that we had. And it was also for seasonal influenza that they recommended that as well. So they were kind of talking about, that was what the background of the study was. And the conclusion was after a 2-week interruption of methotrexate treatment immediately after COVID-19 booster vaccine, they looked at the antibodies. So that's part of our blood profile. And they wanted to know how our antibodies and our immune system, they wanted to know how that response reacted for the first 26 weeks. They said that the biggest part was that they wanted to caution people that typically around 12 weeks, since you delayed the methotrexate shot, there was a higher incidence of flaring right around 12 weeks, which was kind of interesting to wrap your brain around that piece. And it also compared to patients that did not stop their methotrexate shots for that 2 weeks after your booster shot. And they really didn't see a lot of cause and effect as far as it really having a lot of effect, except for those that did pause their methotrexate, there was a higher incidence of flaring around the 12 weeks. But in this talk, one word, which we're gonna have to add to our glossary, and our glossary is a living document that it talks about a lot of the terms that we as conference goers for many years, it's a new word, because this word, the rheumatologist that was talking about, and he was a veteran, I'm guessing, again, pure speculation, he must have been 60 or 70 years old, and he had never heard this word before. So this word is called immunothrombosis, and it's linked with COVID-19. So when you do have COVID-19, it's something that can happen to your body. So the definition that I found is a direct interaction of the leukocytes and platelets. So these are two parts of your blood work, and the coagulation function. So coagulation is if you cut your finger, how long it takes for the blood to stop coming. So they're saying there is actually a major piece with having COVID-19 that you're not coagulating as fast. So the time for when you cut your finger, and years ago, I actually had one of these tests done prior to a surgery where I forget where they did it, but it was somewhere on my arm. They nicked my skin and they timed how long it took for the blood to stop flowing without wiping it or anything. And they timed it to see how that reacted with my body. So that was an interesting piece, and I'd never heard that word before, so I had to look it up, and it's very much related to COVID-19. A lot of things are changing with how our bodies are affected if we've had COVID-19 or did not have COVID-19. So that is another piece that we're going to probably have to add to our glossary, which again, like I said, AI Arthritis has that on our website, and it's a living document. So we're constantly adding new things that we learn. So that is it. I'm in my jammies at this point right now. We're getting to the point where I think it's time to go to bed, sign off, and tune in for day 3 tomorrow. So this is day 2. It's been a fabulous conference. We're seeing so many friends. We've been sharing some of those photos on our page, and we'd love to continue the conversation. So see you later.